Hi, and welcome to this grounding yin practice. You can do this session anytime during the day, but it's especially nice in the evening hours to unwind after work or whenever you feel ready to prepare yourself for a good night's sleep. You will need a few props for this practice, so you don't have to have necessarily yoga bolsters and yoga blocks at home, but it would be nice to have like one or two sturdy cushions. They can also be from your couch or even from your bed. You can build them up to a pile. Then I would recommend to have one or two yoga blocks, or alternatively have some books ready and a chair, seating chair, or any medium-sized stool would be nice to have, and a yoga mat or blanket or carpet, of course, to sit on. So get those props ready. Then also make sure that the room is warm enough to be comfortable. We won't move at all in this practice, so keep in mind that your body will cool out a bit. Maybe you want to put on a jumper, put on some socks for sure, and turn on the heating slightly so that you're ready. Then you can also dim the lights, any nice background music that you like, and when you're ready, then join me at the mat in a seated position, sitting cross-legged if you can. Take a deep breath in, breathe out through the mouth with a sigh, repeating a few times. With the eyes open and soft gaze, or eyes closed, accentuating the exhale, so that with each exhalation you release whatever it is, whatever kind of information in your system that you want to let go of. The stresses of the day, any physical tension that you feel, any nagging thought that you want to leave behind. A few more of these breaths. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. And then open your eyes, but keep the gaze soft. And then we will start with some grinding movements. So with your hands on your knees, so if you're unsure and want to get a bit more into this pelvic motion, so we're gonna roll our pelvis, moving onto the left sit bone, onto the right sit bone. And for that, as I said, you can have your hands also on your pelvis to make sure that the movement is really coming from the base of your spine, so that you're not only rounding up in here. You really want to grind, and as if you were trying to broaden the contact surface of your body with the ground. And we will do this movement in combination with our breath. So when you move forward, you inhale, and when you roll back, you exhale. And that means moving with the breath. The breath comes first and the movement follows. Don't do it the other way around. So that could mean that you move very, very slowly, or depending on your breath, faster, but move with your breath. And really get into the sensation of your pelvis on the floor. And after a few rounds, you may notice that also that your feet, your legs get in closer contact with the ground. Widening your stance. breath. And it's only the breath that matters now. So as soon as you notice any mental activity, any thought, and let them fade away, come back to your breath and come back to that movement. And then next time when you're at the back, we're going to change the direction. So if you started clockwise, then I'll go counterclockwise. Making sure that the movement really comes down from the pelvis. And the rest of the spine will just follow. But the spine actually is quite straight. Observe the breath. Each inhalation, each exhalation. Steady flow. And the last 3 rounds. And then come back to the center. Maybe move a bit the sit bones from side to side until you really feel your very center, so that the weight of your body is equally distributed between left and right. Keep your eyes closed. Bring your awareness once again to your base, your legs, your sitting bones, everything that is in direct contact with the floor, with the ground. And with each exhalation, can you soften your skin there in the legs, around your buttocks, softening your seat, getting a bit closer to the ground. And open your eyes, and we will continue with another grounding movement before we come into stillness. So this time on the inhalation you come into center, and on the exhalation we bow to left knee, inhaling, coming back to center, bowing to the right side. So it goes like this. Inhaling back to center and bowing to the other knee. And you don't have to go all the way down, of course. It can be very modest bows, but make sure that you move with your breath and that all your awareness rests on your breath and the movement that comes along with it. And when you bow over to the left side, you can allow your right sitting bone, your right buttocks to lift up a bit. If otherwise you feel too much of a strain in the low back, there should not be any tension felt. You should not feel a stretch actually. This is not about getting more flexible, anything like that. But it's about tuning in with your breath and connecting with the ground and with this nurturing earth energy. So bringing all the awareness down into the lower body, away from the head, away from the stresses that our mind can create during the day, away from worry. And if you're a visual type, another inner picture that might help you to get into this kind of meditation is, think of a tree that is bowing with the wind to the left and then gently bowed over to the right. So then the movement almost becomes passive. And it's almost as if we were moved by our breath. There's nothing to achieve. You won't get a prize for your nose touching your knee. You won't get a prize for doing this about 50 times. There's nowhere to go. Stay in this very present moment. Stay with the movement and the breath. One breath after another. One bow after another. Last round, so last time to the left, up to center, and last bow to the right, and after the right side come back to center. Keep your eyes closed, spine is straight, and feel once again your energy, meaning on the inside. What's the state of your mind now? Do you feel any calmer? Do you feel connection with the ground? Do you feel connection with your breath? And then, without disturbing the mind too much, very gently and carefully open your eyes. I will move over to the side, but you don't have to. It's just for you so that you can see better what a pose looks like. So we bring the feet together, knees fall out to the side. And then if you're if you don't have openness in the hips, and you feel immediately a stretch, you definitely want to prop up your knees, either with some books or blocks or the cushions, whatever you have, place them under the knees so that they are supported there. And then once again, feel your sit bones, maybe move a bit from side to side. And then we will drape ourselves forward. And here you can allow the back to round. That feels nice. Or you can keep your back rather a bit lengthened, if that feels better for your low back. We're not aiming here for any kind of stretch. It's not passive stretching that we're going for, but the slightest sensation of an opening along the back line, so meaning alongside your spine. And once again, the bow forward, it brings our energy down to the ground. Also, what can be nice in this pose is to have a bit of support for your head. So you could use here your chair already to place it in front. And instead of bowing all the way forward, you can also have your hands and your head resting on the chair. Or I sometimes like to build up fists, one fist on top of the other, to then support my forehead. So find a position that you can hold for about 3 minutes easily without feeling any discomfort. And then when you arrive, once again, deep inhale and sigh out. So we prop ourselves up in yin and restorative so that the body really can let go of any tension held. And that means we want to bring ourselves in a position where we feel actually safe. If there's too much of a stretch going on around our joints, it's not going to be easy, nor is it recommendable to let go. Without straining ourselves. And then get back to your breath. And first of all, notice, where do you sense, where do you feel your breath in this position? Is it more around your belly or your chest? Is it more in the front side or in the back side? Can you then bring your awareness more to the back side of your body? Especially the space between your shoulder blades and the upper back. Can you feel your breath there? And then can you guide your breath all the way down towards the very base of your spine? Last movement. Start by putting your hands on the ground and walking them back so that the spine comes in an upright position. Head at the very last, you can even assist your hand with your hands. Bring it up. And then place your hands under your knees and bring the knees together. If you had some support under the knees, then take it away. Place your feet a bit wider, hands behind you, and then allow your knees just to fall from side to side. Very gently. Then come back up into a seated position. We will now, after going into the back side, go into the side lines. So for that, starting with the left foot in front, line your foot up more or less parallel to your mat, and then swing your right leg behind so that the legs are more or less in a 90-degree shape. And that in yin yoga is called deer pose. If your legs don't go that way, don't worry. Bring them in any position that you can easily get into with your body. It's not about you making any shapes, but about you placing yourself in a position where you can feel then the opening in the side line, okay? So then on the left side, I want to have some support there. It can be either the bolsters, or it could be the blocks if I want to bring myself up a bit higher. And then I allow myself to bend over to my left side. So I have one hand over there. The other arm can go over the head if I want to bring a bit more of an opening also into the upper body. And then once again, I'm not looking for the biggest stretch here, but more for the subtle sensation, because we will hold this position for another 3 minutes or so. And yeah, we want to have a mild, subtle stimulation of those meridians and muscle chains and fascial lines along the side body, but not go to our deepest edge. Another nice variation could be with some props at the side to then come a bit more into a twist, meaning that I bring the center of my chest, sternum a bit more over to the side and then bow down. But once again, if that feels intense, don't go so deep. So keep a degree where you feel a mild sensation. So bring yourself into the position. Also, you can play a bit with circling the upper body more to the front or to the back, and then depending on that you will feel more of a sensation in the front and the back side of the body, or more on the sideline and more in the back line. The left hand, the lower hand, can also serve as a support for the head, so that the head doesn't have to, or your neck doesn't have to work to hold up your head. Once you found your position, again, focus on your breath. And following the direction of the breath also helps to ground. So with each inhalation, follow your breath from the upper body, from your nostrils down towards the base of the spine. And then with your awareness on the exhalation, follow the breath back up towards the nose. If after a while you don't feel any sensation anymore at all, you can change the position of your arm or even of your head a tiny bit, just enough so that again you have like a very, very gentle sensation of opening in the sideline. Jaws relaxed. Eyes closed or gaze soft. Even with your eyes closed, keep your gaze soft. Last few moments here. And then we use our hands once again as a support to lift ourselves up. Feel a very tiny shift. And then I lift the back knee and the left knee and go into windshield wipers once again. So hands placed behind the body and then just allow the knees to fall from side to side. And to bring a very mild activation also into the upper body. And then we set ourselves up for the second side. So the right leg lines up with the front mat. The left leg swings behind in any position, as I said before. Don't worry if your leg is more to the front. It's totally fine. Place the props on the right side. And then check what it is that you need on this side. And it can be very different from what you had on the first side. So if on the left side you were more into side bend, see here if indeed it's more of a twist that you need in this side. So experiment a bit, moving gently in and out, handing over, searching for the tiniest sensation. So on a scale from 1 to 10, like from no sensation at all and 10 being stretch at your end range, you want to be at about 2 or 3 maximum. And if possible, not on a single point, but really along the whole sideline. Or if you're more into this twist, then along the line from the base of the spine through the back up to the head. So find your position, support your head, and then deepen your inhale. Maybe a few sighs out through the mouth. Before you get into your circular breath, where you follow with your awareness the breath on the inhalation all the way down to the spine. And on the exhale, release. Back up. Observing not only the waves of your breath, but also your mental waves. As soon as you notice any distraction, then step back, notice the distraction, and with your exhalation, let go of that thought. The more we practice meditation, the more we realize that our thoughts, the same patterns of thoughts, will haunt us. And as disturbing as that may seem, also comforting it somehow is, because we realize no thought is it worth to get trapped by. There's nothing so important. There's nothing There's no thought that could be important enough to carry us away right now from where we are. And as relaxed state of mind. This inner dialogue with our breath and with our body. Last few moments. And then release your hands first. Place them on the ground or on the props and help yourself to get up to an upright position, and then once again place your hands behind you and get into windshield wipers, moving the legs from side to side. And then come back to center. Now for our last yin pose, you have the choice to either go into a back bend, which will be mildly energizing and help us to open up the front side that we haven't done yet. If you feel that that could be too much before going to sleep, then you also have the option to go into another forward fold. So I'll show you the back bend variation first. For that, you want to have a bolster or blankets or pillows high enough. I would say this is maybe about 20 centimeters or so, and rather sturdy so that you feel supported. I will go onto my knees, sitting on my heels, and have a bit of a space between my buttocks and the bolsters, so that when I lean back, there is no pressure felt on the low back. If I have to close it will and lie down on it, it will feel rather uncomfortable after a while. So I leave about 1 or 2 fists of space between the props and my body, and then I lean back onto the bolsters. So this could feel too intense for people with very strong quads. If you feel any sensation around your knees, then don't go onto your knees, and instead have the legs stretched out to the front, or come into this butterfly shape again, where you have the feet together and the knees falling out to the side. And then here as well, you could support your knees with some blocks or books under them, and then from there lean back, making sure that there's no pressure felt on the low back, whether through the prop or through the back band. So maybe 2 pillows or 3 pillows are too much, then you can lower yourself a bit. Find a position where you have the feeling that yes, you can stay there for a longer period of time without any discomfort. And if that feels too much, the back bend, like too energizing, then you could do a supported child's pose instead. So for that as well, I come onto my heels, kneeling onto my heels, the knees a bit apart, and then I place the props between my knees and then lie over my props in this position, where I'm absolutely held in the upper body by the props, so I can allow all my weight to sink into the bolsters. And there's no compression of the knees. I could also support my seat. If you can't fold like this easily, then maybe also you want to prop yourself up, and the head can either be bent to the side if that feels okay for the neck, or straight down to the floor, maybe once again propped up by my hands and folded hands. So back bend or forward bend, your choice. Maybe you're into it already for a bit. And we'll all go now into this for about 3 minutes. And
And once you're in there,
find your breath again. And if you're in the back bend variation, then it might feel very different to what we've done so far. So the awareness probably is more in the front side now. Whilst in child's pose, you might feel the pull of gravity towards the floor a bit more. But even if you are in the back bend variation, then can you here as well, with each exhalation, allow yourself to sink a bit deeper onto your prop. Can you trust your props enough to let go of the last bit of effort, of tension that you hold up to support yourself? Last moments. Of course, with any of these poses, you can hold them for much longer, taking in whatever you need in this very moment. It can change from day to day. So there are definitely some days when back bend would feel too much, or when you have the feeling on the opposite that another forward fold is not what you need. And then with as little effort as possible, bring yourself back up into a seated position. Stretch out your legs. And we will then come lie down for our final relaxation in Shavasana. Since you already have some pillows here close by, you might take one of them and place it under your knees so that when you come lying down, I'll show you from the side, you will have the low back on the ground so that there's no pulling at the low back, which for some people occurs when they have the legs stretched out. Place the arms out to the side, maybe cushion your head a bit if the mat you're lying on feels too hard. And then let your toes fall out to the side or in towards the ground. On your next inhalation, make very loose fists with your hands. And then on the exhalation, consciously release the grip and let your hands soften. And then bring your awareness to the back of your head, wherever you feel the contact with the ground. And let that contact point soften a bit more into the ground. And take your awareness to your shoulders, the upper back area. And on your exhalation, soften. And bring your awareness to all the contact points in your right arm. And let them soften into the ground on your exhalation. And left arm, all the contact points from the shoulder to the back side of the hand. Exhale, soften. Find any contact points in the mid-back. Around your pelvis. And soften. Around the back side of your right leg. Whether it's the ground or your support under the knees, from the very top of your hip down to your heel. Soften on the exhalation. And then left leg, from the hip down to the heel. Feel all those contact points. And soften on the exhalation. And then feel all the contact points from the very top, from your head down to the feet. All those points that are in contact with the ground. And then soften. And through those contact points, allow anything that you don't want to, don't need to carry around with you anymore. Release all that into the ground. As if you drain yourself from all the stuff, whether it's emotional stuff or mental stuff, or manifested physical stuff in the form of tension. Imagine that those contact points are drains where all that can release. Allow that to happen. Each exhalation. And that process can take a few minutes, it may take a few hours. There's no rush. Trust your body's own wisdom. That it will let you know that you will awake soon as it's done. So that once that all the tension drained out from your body, and you can glide into your bed for a good night's sleep. And we'll wake with new energy, a new space,